So in the last chapter for today, I want to talk a little bit about the bigger picture. I want to kind of show you a little bit, give you a feel of what we're doing in the upcoming weeks, what we're working on, what we're thinking about, okay? And I often use this kind of slightly overwhelming scheme or system here that is on this slide, but I want to walk you through it to give you a feel for how these things fit into each other, how the things we talked about today fit to the larger picture that I'm trying to present you over these many episodes we have in front of us. Here I have kind of like on the top, I have people, because people and others, implied, actual, or imagined others, have a huge impact on each of these components, okay? So they're there, and we will do similar content to, for instance, people who do decision making, JDM, right? Judgment and decision making. There's an overlap in the ideas we have. There's an overlap to health psychology with their emphasis on expectancy value theories. There's other overlaps of other contents, but social psychology offers to all of them a particular social perspective, and that's what we are trying to highlight, okay? We will start next week with wise intervention and try to target these theories here. And we're trying to highlight how this is important. So in the third week, we will start here, and we will talk about wise interventions that's trying to shape the way we perceive ourselves and others by changing the underlying beliefs and theories people have. Then we will go on and talk about expectancy value theories. Super important theories. One of the most important theories in psychology. That's one of the worst force I've ever seen. I think that's slightly better. So we will, in a week thereafter, we will talk about this, and we will talk about how these key components, values, expectancy, and norms, are influenced by other people. It might be that we are actually doing 2 weeks on that. I have not decided yet on that, but because they're so important, because it's so important to understand the centrality of others for these key motivators of behavior. Then you have this really meager representation of a river here. That is this river. And this is the river Rubicon. Something happens when people commit, when they turn their value and expectancies and perspective and norms into goals. And they cross the Rubicon. And we would talk about in one session how to cross the Rubicon and what happens to people when they cross the Rubicon and how to help them the Rubicon. And so this is one aspect that's really important. And then we will talk about goals. We would talk about goals as meaning-making decisions, mechanisms, and how we can use goals in order to help people to live happier and more meaningful lives, how we can help utilize goals in order to help them achieve the things they wanted to achieve. And then we would talk about this section here, the intention behavior gap. So there's something when you cross the Rubicon, now you have to go, but yet to fail to act on it. The easiest way to think about it is if you think about eating healthy, right? You're just like, yes, I can eat healthy. I have done it in the past. And yes, I really want to eat healthy. And I think everyone around me thinks I should eat healthy. So value, expectations, and norms are in place. You have the goal to eat healthy, yet you often fail. You have good intentions, but you fail to act on them. That is the realm of self-control here. And we will talk about self-control interventions here. So these will be like the sessions that we do in the upcoming weeks. Each of them will focus on one of these components in this scheme. And hopefully by the end of it, you will have a good feeling for how to approach a particular problem, how to kind of separate these different components. For your interventions, for your things that you develop, you can draw on any of these, right? Oh, at the end, we will share, you will wonder why are we only having 8, 9, we will talk a little bit about nudges, and 10, we have a buffer session, which I normally use for presentations, but I think it will be good to have a little bit of buffer and see if there's something that we're really interested in that we can use in order to yes, to kind of like whatever we were interested in, to kind of spark your interest if there's something that you want to learn more about or where you need feedback on. We might also have just in the middle a larger feedback session depending on how your interventions are going. But this is what is ahead of us. I think it's exciting. Hopefully you feel the same way. And see you in our live sessions next week.